So what about compost, Barbara? Because that's obviously fermentation, that's rotting material. Should we be keeping compost bins in our houses? Should we try to stay away from the compost bins while we're making compost in our
Well,
garden?
we have 3 big compost bins in our garden, and it's a long way from our house. The compost bin should be a long way from the house. It's the cycle of life. It's the cycle of microbes bringing matter back to dust. And if you give the compost the right conditions, see, what we do is we put a lot of garden scraps in. That's very heavy. And then we alternate that with weeds from the garden, especially the corn stalks, the broccoli stalks, and that aerates it. That brings more of the aerobic bacteria. So if your compost is given the right conditions, it encourages more aerobic bacteria than anaerobic bacteria, and you get the breakdown of all your your matter. And I think, and I know that you're going to ask me questions about growing our own food when it's difficult to buy and sell. The compost bins will be very important, because when we put compost into our garden, it can only go into the garden when it smells sweet. I was reading one book on the compost, and it said in there that this master composter, he gets women to smell his compost because it should smell like sweet earth. If there is any bad smell, then there's been too much anaerobic bacteria. It can be aerated a little bit, and go and have another look in a month, and you might find by then it'll be brought back down to that sweet earth. So when you put the compost into your garden, you're putting microbes into your garden, and it is the microbes in the soil that break down the minerals in the soil and make them available for the roots of the plant.
So should we not be keeping little compost bins in our kitchen?
No, no, they should be outside.
Because I've bought one from Bunnings, and then I think it's like a little novelty that a lot of people would think, oh, how cute, I can just put some of the scraps, and so no.
That's right. And again, there should be alternating the heavy scraps with the light scraps. Some people and the garden weeds, and some people might go to the neighbour's cows, especially if they're organic farm, and putting some cow manure in, and maybe if they've got chooks or chickens, they're the healthy ones that don't have any chemicals given to them. So what the compost does, and it's the microbes in the matter that's rotting down that converts it all back to dust. It's a cycle of life.
Yes, and your book has that as well, illustrated very nicely, Self-Heal by Design.
Yeah.
Yes, you explain quite well the cycle of life.